So, welcome back. This is segment number 38 of Making Sense for 7 minutes. It's an hour-long series. No, it's a summer-long series. I should probably just put this aside. No, I shouldn't. It's a summer-long series, Monday through Friday, where we are surveying in bite-sized pieces our historical narrative that is given to us in the Bible. That same Bible that says, drink a little wine because it's good for your stomach. And that feels better already. And we're asking always the immeasurably relevant question, so what? Listen, when John the Baptist was imprisoned by Herod for doing what God had called him to do, which was to confront Herod for having an affair with his brother's wife, John experienced a major crisis of faith, and he sent a message by his disciples, which is recorded in Matthew 11:3, if you don't believe me when I say that it said, "Are you the expected one, or do we look for someone else?" Now, this was a message to Jesus. Now, Matthew, having recorded this, has given us a great model with John's actions for how to deal with the doubt and how to deal with it in such a way that it doesn't lead us into the sin of unbelief. Because doubt is not a sin. It's not something you decide to do. It's something that happens. It comes on you. So, looking at John the Baptist, watch the way he handles this. Number one, he acknowledged his doubts. He acknowledged them, first of all, to himself. Being a man of integrity, he did not play head games, especially with himself. He owned up to the fact that he was questioning everything that had been fundamentally foundational in his life. Now, there are a couple of things, I think, that cause people to resist that type of internal self-scrutiny. One of them is they're too lazy to confront and address former fundamental core convictions. Takes effort to the point of work. To formulate questions, pursue answers, read, study, discuss, explore. You know, it's much easier just to plant your face in the screen and fill your mind with pixels and post. But a second reason I think that some people are resistant is because they're afraid. You see, to genuinely, ruthlessly, honestly confront your questions about the faith that perhaps you have subscribed to for a long time requires you to honestly entertain the possibility that your doubts are indeed well-founded. It requires you to honestly open yourself up to the very real possibility that having invested your life into this relationship with Jesus, based on the conviction that the Christian faith is true, that you were wrong all along. And then where do you go? Then what do you do? There's a third aspect of this model that John gives us. He is transparent and vulnerable with people who knew him really well and loved him, his own disciples. This is a bold move on his part. These people were following him, and many, in some cases, I'm sure, were following Jesus because he was following Jesus. So what are they to think? What was John risking? What do you and I risk when we are vulnerable and transparent about our doubts? Very possibly our status and our reputation. Let's say you've got a reputation as a strong Christian. You're in a leadership role in your church or some other Christian community or ministry. You teach, you counsel, and now you're questioning the very foundation from which you have led and spoken. How are these people around you going to react? What level of rejection are you going to have to risk? You know, you would like to think that the church would be a place where you could safely come with all of your insecurities. And sadly, in many cases, that's not the case. A wise man once said that we have taken that which was intended to be a hospital for sinners and turned it into a museum for saints. So we're encouraged to walk with others in the church, but not limp. Hide your crutches. Cover your wheelchair. And finally, as a model, John takes his questions to Jesus. He takes them directly to God. I mean, you go, well, wait a minute. He's the one I'm having difficulty with. Okay, let's say you're having difficulty with the idea of the existence of God. Go to God. If he's not there, you haven't lost anything. But if he is, who better to talk with? Thanks, y'all.